Welcome to Miss Scarlett. Subscribe and don't miss out on Patreon. Have fun! Chapter 1. The Realization. It's like I've been trapped in a cage, a body that doesn't feel like my own. I whispered to my reflection in the bathroom mirror. My breath fogged up the glass, a temporary distortion of the face I saw every day, yet it felt so unfamiliar. I took a razor, carefully beginning to shave away the stubble that had begun to sprout along my jawline. I needed to see the real me. The scratch of the razor against my skin sent a shiver down my spine. As the hair fell away, I imagined it taking with it the constraints of my assigned gender. I was unraveling the boy I was expected to be, and in its place, a girl would emerge, the true me. My heart raced as I pictured the freedom that might come with this revelation. "Hey, are you almost done in there?" The deep voice of my father boomed from the other side of the door. I jumped, startled, and quickly rinsed off the razor, my hands shaking slightly. "Yeah, just a minute," I called back, my voice cracking as I tried to modulate it to sound more masculine. I splashed cold water on my face, taking a steadying breath. I could do this! I had to keep my secret just a little while longer. "You okay in there? Your mom's waiting for you to head out for breakfast?" Concern laced his words, and I knew he could sense something was up. I quickly wiped my hands on a towel, my heart pounding in my chest. "I'm fine, Dad. Just a second." I took one last look in the mirror, my green eyes searching for any signs of the woman I knew I was meant to be. My brown hair, once a source of comfort as I grew it out longer, now felt like a disguise. I longed for the day when I could step out into the world as my authentic self, free from the confines of this bathroom. Chapter 2. Experimenting with Identity. I stepped into my best friend Sarah's bedroom, a haven of girly accessories and makeup. She bounced excitedly on her bed, her blonde curls shining in the sunlight. "So, I thought we'd start with foundation. You need to even out your skin tone, and then we can play with the fun stuff." She giggled, her blue eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "Okay, Doc," I laughed, settling into the chair in front of her vanity. My heart raced as I imagined the transformation that was about to take place. "Lay it on me." Sarah's delicate hands expertly swirled the brush in the liquid foundation, carefully blending it into my skin. I watched in fascination as my beard stubble disappeared under a smooth, poreless canvas. "There, that's better," she murmured, her concentration intense. "Now for some concealer to brighten up those beautiful green eyes of yours." As she worked, I studied my reflection, mesmerized by the changes taking place. The boyish features were slowly softening, and I could almost see the girl I knew I was meant to be emerging. Some mascara, a touch of blush, and voila! Sarah stepped back, beaming at her handiwork. I stared, unable to speak. The person staring back at me was a stranger, yet somehow they felt more familiar than my own reflection. "Wow," I breathed, reaching up to touch my cheek, half expecting the makeup to smear. I can't believe it. "You look amazing," Sarah squealed, clapping her hands. "Now let's work on your wardrobe. Something tells me you won't fit into my clothes just yet, but we can start with some accessories." She bustled about her room, pulling out scarves, necklaces, and earrings, creating a pile of girly delights on her bed. "Here, try these on." She handed me a pair of dangling silver earrings. I stood, carefully slipping them through my pierced ears, a secret indulgence I'd treated myself to a few months prior. As I turned to face Sarah, I felt a rush of excitement. "They suit you!" she cried. "Now for the piece de resistance, a wig!" The long, dark wig fell over my shoulders, and I gasped as the soft waves framed my face. "It's like I'm looking at a completely different person," I murmured, running my hands through the hair. You are, Sarah said softly, her eyes shining with unshed tears. You're finally becoming who you truly are. Chapter 3. The Physical Changes. The doctor's office felt sterile and cold as I sat on the examination table, my heart pounding in my chest. I fiddled nervously with the hem of my shirt, avoiding the eyes of the kind-faced woman sitting across from me. So, tell me, Alex, what brings you here today? Dr. Anderson asked, her voice gentle and steady. Clearing my throat, I summoned the courage to speak the words I'd been practicing in my head. I want to start hormone therapy. I took a steadying breath, my heart hammering in my chest. I want to transition. A smile spread across Dr. Anderson's face, and she leaned forward, her eyes warm and encouraging. That's a big step, Alex. I'm proud of you for coming here today. Many trans people never take that leap, and it's an important one. I felt a weight lift from my shoulders as I heard those words of affirmation. Thank you, I whispered, my voice hoarse with emotion. I need to do this. I know it in my heart. Nodding, she continued. Well, first things first, we'll need to run some tests and get your levels checked. But assuming everything looks good, we can get you started on estrogen therapy, and we'll discuss any other treatments you may want to consider. My eyes widened at the mention of other treatments. What kinds of things? I asked, my voice laced with anticipation. Well, many trans women opt for laser hair removal, especially if they're experiencing unwanted facial or body hair growth. We can also discuss voice therapy and any surgical options you may want to explore down the line, Dr. Anderson explained, her tone professional yet supportive. A rush of relief washed over me, knowing that I had options and a whole team of medical professionals to guide me through this journey. Let's do it, I said, my voice steady and sure. I'm ready. Chapter 4. Emotional Turmoil. Why can't you just accept me for who I am? The words escaped my mouth in a furious rush as I faced off with my mother in the kitchen. The scent of burned coffee hung heavy in the air, a stark contrast to the cold silence that had fallen between us. My mother, her eyes red and puffy from crying, shook her head. It's not that simple, honey. She paused, searching for the right words. I worry about the challenges you'll face. The world can be cruel, and I don't want you to get hurt. I felt my own tears threatening to spill over. I know, Mom, but I'm already hurting. Every day that I pretend to be someone I'm not, a piece of me dies inside. I pleaded, my voice cracking with emotion. She stepped forward, her arms opening wide. I fell into her embrace, sobbing into her shoulder. I just want you to be happy, she whispered, stroking my hair. I'll try to understand. I promise. Pulling away, I saw the determination in her eyes mirror my own. I know it won't be easy, I said, my voice strong and steady. But I need to do this. For me. A soft smile played at her lips as she nodded, understanding passing between us. Then we'll take this journey together, one step at a time. Chapter 5. The Voice. Relax your jaw and let your tongue rest gently behind your lower front teeth. The voice coach, Miss Taylor, guided me through the exercise, her own voice melodic and smooth. I tried to mirror her posture, sitting up straight and closing my eyes to focus on the sensation. Now, take a deep breath and let it out slowly as you say, The sound vibrated in my throat, and I felt my chest resonance shift. I opened my eyes, excitement bubbling within me. Did you feel that? Miss Taylor nodded, her gray eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. I did! That's excellent, Alex! You're a quick study. Encouraged, I continued to practice, focusing on relaxing my vocal folds and raising my pitch. Like this? I asked, my voice lilting higher than I'd ever heard it before. "Perfect! You're finding your true voice, and it's beautiful." Miss Taylor beamed at me, her pride evident. A warmth spread through me as I imagined using this voice in my everyday life, ordering a coffee, chatting with friends, maybe even flirting with a cute girl. My cheeks flushed at the thought. "This feels right," I murmured, my voice a soft melody. "It certainly does," Miss Taylor agreed, her eyes shining with unshed tears. "You're finding your authenticity, and it's an honor to witness." Chapter 6, The Sensitivity. The soft breeze tickled my bare arms as I walked home from the library, a stack of books cradled in my arms. I reveled in the warmth of the sun on my skin, a welcome change from the chill of air conditioning. As I strolled, I noticed a group of young children playing in a nearby park, their laughter ringing out like music. Suddenly, one of the little girls, no older than 5, pointed in my direction. "Look, it's a princess!" she cried, her eyes wide with wonder. I froze, unsure how to react. The other children turned, their eyes curious but not unkind. "She's so pretty!" another child exclaimed, a little boy with curly brown hair. A flush of warmth spread across my cheeks, and I felt a smile tug at my lips. I waved gently at the children, a gesture that made them giggle and shy away. As I continued on my way, I felt a spring in my step, my heart lighter than it had been in a long time. That evening, as I lay in bed, I replayed the scene in my mind. I thought of the little girl's innocent observation, seeing me as a princess. It touched a place in my heart that had long been buried under layers of self-doubt and anxiety. I realized in that moment that I was becoming more sensitive to the world around me, noticing the small beauties and joys that had once passed me by. The journey of transition was not just about the physical changes, but also the emotional and spiritual. I was becoming attuned to a different wavelength, one that allowed me to appreciate the simple wonders of life. Chapter 7, The Revelation. "Alex, can I talk to you for a moment?" Mr. Carter, my history teacher, called out as I gathered my books at the end of class. I froze, my heart sinking as I turned to face him. "Yes, sir?" I asked, my voice steady, although my insides were twisted with nerves. Mr. Carter was a respected teacher, known for his no-nonsense attitude. I had no idea what this conversation could be about. He motioned for me to take a seat, his expression serious. "I have noticed a change in you lately, Alex," he began, his eyes piercing. "You seem distracted, and your grades have slipped. Is everything okay at home?" I swallowed hard, my throat dry. Should I tell him the truth? I wondered. Taking a deep breath, I decided to take a leap of faith. "Actually, sir, there is something I want to tell you." I paused, steeling myself for his reaction. I'm transgender." Mr. Carter's eyebrows shot up, and he sat back in his chair, a look of surprise on his face. "I see." He paused, considering his words carefully. "Alex, I want you to know that I support you. This doesn't change the person you are inside, and it certainly doesn't change my expectations of you as a student." Relief washed over me, and I let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. "Thank you, sir. It means a lot to have your support." He nodded, a thoughtful look on his face. "It can't be easy, keeping up a facade every day. But know that you have allies here, and we'll do everything we can to make your transition at school as smooth as possible." Gratitude filled me as I realized the weight of his words. Mr. Carter's support meant the world to me, and I knew it would make all the difference in the days to come. Chapter 8, The Struggles. The familiar weight of loneliness settled over me as I walked home alone from school, my shoulders hunched against the crisp autumn wind. I shoved my hands into the pockets of my jacket, my eyes fixed on the ground in front of me. My mind raced with the events of the day, the stares and whispers of my classmates like a heavy fog clouding my thoughts. "Hey, freak!" The taunting voice cut through the air, snapping me out of my reverie. I flinched, recognizing the voice of one of the popular jocks at school. My heart sank as I saw him and his friends approaching, their eyes cold and calculating. "What's up, princess?" Another one chimed in, a smirk twisting his lips. I felt their eyes on me, assessing me like a specimen under a microscope. My cheeks burned with humiliation, and I quickened my pace, hoping to escape their ridicule. "Oh, don't ignore us," the first one called out, his voice laced with mock hurt. "We just want to get to know the new girl." His friends snickered, their cruel eyes glittering with amusement. I bit my lip, willing myself not to show any reaction. "Leave me alone," I muttered, keeping my gaze lowered. "Ooh, touchy!" the ringleader goaded, stepping closer. "Can't take a joke, huh? Well, if you want to fit in, you better learn to take a punch." He lunged forward, grabbing my arm, his fingers digging into my skin. I winced, struggling to break free. "Get off me!" I shouted, my heart pounding in my chest. The sound of my own voice, high and panicked, only seemed to fuel their cruelty. Laughter echoed in my ears as they closed in, a circle of mocking faces. The boy holding my arm tightened his grip, his breath hot on my face. "You think you're a real girl, huh? Let's see if you can scream like one." Terror coursed through me as his grip turned painful. My mind raced, searching for a way out. I lashed out, kicking and flailing, my books scattering across the pavement. The sound of a horn blaring startled us all, and the boys scattered like cockroaches exposed to light, leaving me shaking and gasping for breath. Chapter 9. The Support System. I sat in the school counselor's office, my eyes fixed on the tissue box on her desk. My hands were clasped tightly in my lap, my knuckles white from the force of my grip. Mrs. Wilson, the counselor, sat across from me, her kind face etched with concern. I don't know what to do," I whispered, my voice thick with unshed tears. "They won't leave me alone. It's like I have a target on my back." Mrs. Wilson reached forward, placing her hand gently on mine. "Alex, you are not alone in this. I promise you that. There are people in this school who will stand by your side and support you." I sniffed, managing a weak smile. "Really?" "Absolutely." She sat back, folding her hands in her lap. "First things first, we need to report this incident. Bullying of any kind will not be tolerated, and these boys need to understand the consequences of their actions." I nodded, a small spark of hope kindling in my chest. "Okay. Now let's talk about a support system for you. Are there any clubs or groups you could join where you might find like-minded friends?" Mrs. Wilson suggested, her voice encouraging. I thought for a moment, my mind racing. "Well, there's the LGBT Alliance Club. I've heard about it, but I've never gone." "There you go!" Mrs. Wilson beamed. "That's the perfect place to start. You'll find others who are going through similar experiences, and you can lean on each other for support." A weight lifted from my shoulders as I considered this option. "Maybe I could even make some friends," I said, my voice laced with cautious optimism. "Of course you will," Mrs. Wilson assured me. "And remember, my door is always open if you need to talk. We're going to get through this together." Chapter 10. The First Steps. My heart pounded in my chest as I stood outside the classroom, the sounds of laughter and conversation drifting into the hallway. I took a deep breath, steeling myself to enter. This was it, my first meeting of the LGBT Alliance Club. I felt like an imposter, my nerves jangling as I imagined the confident, out and proud members within. Taking a steadying breath, I pushed open the door, my eyes scanning the room. A group of students sat in a circle, chatting and snacking on cookies. As they turned to face me, I felt my cheeks flush. "Hey, you must be Alex!" A friendly face approached, a smile spreading across her face. "I'm Sam, the club president. Come on in and grab a seat." She gestured to an empty chair, her brown eyes warm and welcoming. I managed a small smile, feeling my nervousness ease slightly. "Thanks." As I took a seat, the others introduced themselves, their names a blur in my memory. Their kindness washed over me, a contrast to the coldness I'd faced from others. Slowly, I began to relax, my shoulders lowering from their defensive stance. "So, Alex, what brings you to our little group?" Sam asked, her voice gentle and encouraging. "Are you here to make new friends, or is there something specific you're looking for?" I took a breath, my eyes scanning the circle of supportive faces. I guess I just need a place to belong," I confessed, my voice cracking slightly. "I'm transgender, and it's been a tough journey so far. I thought maybe here I could find people who understand." Nods of understanding greeted my words, and I felt a rush of relief. "You've come to the right place," Sam assured me, her eyes shining with empathy. "We're a family here, and we look out for each other. You'll always have a safe space with us." Chapter 11. Finding Community. The club meetings became my sanctuary, a haven from the storm of confusion and ridicule that often awaited me in the outside world. I looked forward to our gatherings each week, cherishing the time spent with my newfound family. We shared stories, laughed, and supported each other through the ups and downs of our unique journeys. It was at one of these meetings that I met Carrie, a bubbly girl with an infectious laugh and a fierce spirit. We bonded over our shared love of fantasy novels and rapidly became inseparable. Her unwavering acceptance of my true self helped me blossom, and our friendship soon bloomed into something more. One sunny afternoon, we sat side by side on a picnic blanket in the park, our fingers entwined. "You know, I used to hate the way people stared at me," I confessed, my eyes fixed on our joined hands. "But now, when they stare, I almost feel proud." Carrie squeezed my hand, her green eyes sparkling. "You should feel proud, Alex. You're brave and you're true to yourself. That's something to be admired." I turned to face her, my heart full. "Thank you for being my partner in crime." I smiled, leaning in for a gentle kiss. "You make this journey so much brighter." Chapter 12. The Inner Turmoil. "Alex, honey, are you feeling all right?" My mother's concerned voice broke through the fog of my thoughts as I sat listlessly at the dinner table, my eyes fixed on the untouched meal in front of me. I realized with a start that I had been absently poking at my food, my appetite seemingly gone. "Yeah, I'm fine, Mom." I forced a weak smile, pushing the food around my plate. "Just not very hungry, I guess." My father, sensing my unease, reached out to place a hand on my shoulder. "Anything you want to talk about?" he asked gently, his eyes kind. I shook my head, my throat tight. "No, I don't know, just a lot on my mind, I guess." My parents exchanged a worried glance, concern furrowing their brows. They had walked this road with me, supporting my transition every step of the way, but the challenges we had faced were nothing compared to the inner turmoil I now battled. As I lay awake in bed that night, my thoughts spiraled. I knew I was on the right path. Of that, I had no doubt. But the incessant whispers of self-doubt plagued me, questioning my every move. Am I doing this right? Am I truly a woman? What if I never pass? The voices in my head were relentless, stealing my peace and joy. I rolled onto my side, hugging a pillow to my chest. I longed for the comfort of sleep, a respite from the chaos in my mind. But even in my dreams, the turmoil followed, casting a dark shadow over my once vibrant world. Chapter 13. The Setback. The doctor's office felt colder than I remembered as I sat waiting for my appointment, my eyes fixed on the door. My heart pounded in my chest, anticipation and anxiety waging a war within me. Today was the day I would take the next big step in my transition: female genital reconstruction surgery. As Dr. Anderson entered the room, her face wore a somber expression, her usual warm smile absent. "Alex, I have some news," she began, her voice grave. "I'm afraid we've hit a roadblock." My heart sank, my stomach dropping as if I were on a roller coaster. "What do you mean?" I asked, my voice shaking. Dr. Anderson sighed, sitting down across from me. "I received your lab results, and it seems there's been a complication. Your white blood cell count is elevated, indicating an infection of some sort." I felt the blood drain from my face. "An infection? But I feel fine," I protested, my mind racing. "Sometimes infections can be asymptomatic," Dr. Anderson explained, her tone gentle but firm. "In any case, we can't proceed with the surgery until this is cleared up. I'm going to refer you to an immunologist to get to the bottom of this." My eyes stung with unshed tears as the reality of her words sank in. "How long will this delay things?" I asked, my voice small. Dr. Anderson placed a reassuring hand on mine. "We'll get you in with the immunologist right away, and we'll take it from there. Setbacks like this are never easy, but we'll get through it together." Chapter 14. Emotional Roller Coaster. The sun shone brightly through my bedroom window, casting a warm glow over the room. I sat curled up in bed, a book open in my lap, but my eyes were fixed on the vibrant rays of light dancing across the wall. My thoughts were tumultuous, a whirlwind of emotions buffeting me. I should be happy, I told myself. The infection had cleared up, and my surgery was back on track. But the setback had triggered something within me, bringing to the surface doubts and fears I had kept at bay. "Alex?" My mother's soft knock at the door broke through my reverie. "Can I come in?" "Yeah," I replied, my voice thick. She entered, her face a mask of concern. "Sweetheart, what's wrong?" she asked, perching on the edge of the bed. "I can sense your anxiety from across the house." I sighed, closing the book with a snap. "I don't know, Mom. I'm scared, I guess. What if something goes wrong during the surgery? What if I don't wake up?" She took my hand, her eyes soft with understanding. "Those are normal fears, honey. But you have a skilled medical team who will take good care of you. Remember, this is a well-established procedure with excellent safety records." I nodded, her words offering a small measure of comfort. "What if I don't like the results?" I whispered, voicing my deepest fear. "What if it's not what I expected?" My mother's eyes shone with unshed tears. "Alex, your journey is exactly that. Yours. No one can predict how you'll feel afterward, but I know you've thought this through thoroughly. Trust yourself and your instincts." Chapter 15. The Surgery. The hospital room was stark and sterile, the beeping of machines a sharp contrast to the stillness of my body. I felt myself drifting, my consciousness floating above the scene as the anesthesiologist counted backward from 10. 1, 2, 3. My mind trailed off as I surrendered to the darkness, a calm resignation settling over me. I awoke slowly, my mind foggy and my body heavy. My throat felt dry, and I tried to lick my lips, but my mouth was parched. As my eyes fluttered open, I saw the concerned faces of my parents hovering above me. "Alex, honey, you're awake." My mother's voice, thick with relief, washed over me. "How are you feeling?" I tried to speak, but my throat felt like sandpaper. My mother quickly held a straw to my lips, allowing me to sip some water. "Sore?" I croaked, my voice hoarse and weak. "That's to be expected," my father said gently, his eyes kind. "But the surgery went well, and Dr. Anderson is very pleased with the results." I closed my eyes, a wave of relief washing over me. I felt a gentle hand on mine, my mother's touch offering comfort and support. "You did it," she whispered, her voice brimming with pride. "You took a huge step toward becoming the woman you were meant to be." A small smile played at my lips as I let her words sink in. I had indeed taken that step, and though the road to recovery would be long, I knew the worst was behind me. Chapter 16, The Transformation. The sun shone brightly through the window, casting a warm glow over my newly decorated bedroom. I stood before the full-length mirror, my eyes taking in the reflection of the woman staring back at me. My heart swelled with a mixture of emotions, pride, relief, and a profound sense of belonging. I traced my fingers over the soft curves of my hips, the smooth skin a testament to the hours of laser hair removal. My eyes flickered to the stack of wigs on my vanity, colorful reminders of the experimentation with style and identity. But today, I felt no need to hide behind a wig. My own hair, once a badge of shame, had grown out, cascading in soft waves around my shoulders. I smiled, my heart light, as I thought of the journey that had brought me to this moment. The struggles, the doubt, and the setbacks had threatened to break me, but they had only made me stronger. I knew that my transition was an ongoing process, a lifelong journey of self-discovery, and I embraced the unknown future with open arms. A soft knock at the door startled me from my reverie. "Alex, it's Mom. Can I come in?" "Yeah, come on in." I turned, a smile spreading across my face as she entered. "Oh, honey," she breathed, her eyes sparkling with unshed tears. "You look radiant." I stepped forward, embracing her. "Thank you, Mom, for everything," I whispered, my voice thick with emotion. She held me tightly, her arms a sanctuary of love and acceptance. "You're welcome, my beautiful daughter," she murmured, her voice steady and sure. "Now, let's go show the world the amazing woman you've become."
Thanks for watching, my girlies! Be sure to check out Patreon for more!